Okay, so are you clear with this question? The very first question we have discussed?
Okay. The first step is to break down into these two equations.
Very good.
Bring the minus sign out. Is this like a necessary step? Like
Yes,
always?
yes, 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 because you have mod
Okay,
here,
okay,
right?
okay.
Okay. So you should know whenever you have mod, you cannot solve your equation directly. By solving an equation, I mean you need to find the value of x. Whenever you need to find value of x, obviously you get rid of under roots and mods and things which basically are not letting you separate x, right? When you have to find x, you need to separate it. When you have to separate x, you need to get rid of this mod as well. In order to get rid of this mod, that is basically the modulus function. This is a short form of modulus function. We call it mod. You break your equation into these two equations. So this equation looks like the question directly. You just have x plus 4 equals x. But for the second equation, you put this minus sign, right? And why do you put this minus sign? Because when you're opening the mod, you don't know if the question or if your function x plus 4 was positive or negative. You don't know that, okay? Because every time when you have mod, you get positive answer. So at your level, at your age, for any t, just know whenever you have mod in an equation, you need to break it down into
Okay.
two equations. One equation would be as it is without mod, and for the other one, you need to use this minus sign, right? And you'll simplify it,
Okay.
and you will get x equals minus 2. Okay.
So whenever there is a mod, any equation, any situation, we will approach it by putting a minus sign.
Exactly. You need to write two
Okay.
equations. Two equations, okay? This is the first
What's the
equation and
purpose
this is,
of the first equation then?
say it again.
What's the purpose of the first equation then?
Okay. In this case, in this particular case, we have x plus 4 equals x. Now we can see that we have x on both sides and this x would be cancelled. So we cannot find the value of x in this case.
Okay.
So this equation is just, to waste your time, and there's no point in using this equation. You would not be able to find the value of
Okay.
x, right? But this is
So
not
it
going
will
to
vary
happen
too?
every time. You will see, we'll be
Okay.
solving another question just after, few questions. That is also a mod question. So there you will see that we'll be able to find two values of x,
Okay.
right? Okay, so
Understood.
is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Now we have the second question, and it says x plus 3 divided by x equals 4. Okay, so let's just write it down. We have x plus 3 by x equals 4, right? Is this the equation?
Yes.
All right. Now I need to simplify this equation first, and then we look into all the options, right? So we can take this x to that side by taking LCM on this side. So I'll get x. This would become x squared. Why? Because we have 1 here. To get x here, I need to multiply it with x. So I'll also be multiplying this with x. This is the basic concept of LCM, right? Plus 3
Yes.
equals 4. So we have x squared plus 3 equals 4x. So this is x squared minus 4x plus 3 equals 0. All right. So this is our equation actually. And this is a quadratic equation, right? We know that because the highest power of x in this case is 2, which implies that it is a quadratic equation. If the power was 3, this would have been cubic equation. If the highest power was 1, this would have been a linear equation, right? So let's just look at the options. Option A says it's a transcendental equation. So for transcendental equations, I don't know, but when I was in OA levels, I did not know about this term at all. Okay, so all you need to know is a transcendental equation is the one which has log, exponential function, or any trigonometric function, right? So this is
Okay.
the definition of what a transcendental equation looks like. In this case, things are very clear that this certainly is not a transcendental equation because we do not have any log, exponential function, trigonometric function here. This is purely an algebraic equation whose power is 2, right? So A is not the answer. Okay. Cubic equation. Now the highest power is 2. So this is a quadratic equation. So it cannot be the cubic equation. So again, this is not the option. Identity. So identity is the one where either you have 3 equations, or it is, a famous identity in maths, just like in trigonometry, we have studied so many identities in A levels and O levels, right? So this is not an identity. The difference in identity and equation is that identity has two things which are same on left hand side and right hand side. That is the case of in equations as well. But here you can prove left hand side equals right hand side when you talk about identities, right? Like they are equal if you simplify them at their own. Here you cannot simplify x plus 3 by x to make it look like 4, right? So this is not an identity. So definitely it is a quadratic equation. So D is the answer. Although the option does not say that it is a quadratic equation, but it is an equation. So this is the only answer which looks, the correct one. All the answers are clearly wrong. So D is the option. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Question 3. Okay. This is the third question. In R, the left cancellation property with respect to addition is. Now let's just understand this question first, okay? Again, when I was in A levels, I did not know about these properties. I mean, everyone knows that if we have A plus B equals A plus C, let's say, I can cancel these two A's and I would get B equals C. But I did not know at that time that this is what left cancellation property is. Okay, so these are a few things which you will have to learn. So what is this R? R is basically for real numbers. Don't get confused. You know what real numbers are, right? Real numbers are numbers which you deal with in mathematics. Then there's another branch of complex numbers, right? So every number like 1, 2, 3.7, under root 2, all these are real numbers. Okay, so you know what real numbers are, so don't get confused by this. Here you need to see what the left cancellation property is. Okay, so left is self-explanatory. Left means left, you'll get to know that. And cancellation means that one variable would be common at both sides, just like here I've discussed, and you'll be left with two variables only. Okay, so these two variables would be equal. This is just little background, just so you understand things well. Okay, now let's look at the options. The very first option says C plus A equals C plus B. C plus A equals C plus B. Forget this, that this is a rule, a law, left cancellation, real numbers, etc., etc. Just think of how you solve, how you do maths. Okay, this is your equation. In order to solve this equation, in order to simplify this equation, you definitely would cancel C and C, and you will get A equals B, right? So here C was at this point and this point of the equation, on both the sides. At the left side, this is why it's called left cancellation. C has been cancelled. On both the sides, it was at the left position. And since C has been cancelled, you got A equals B. So A is the answer. Let's just look at the other options as well. Let's look at option B. Option B says C plus A. C plus A equals C plus B. Okay. And this implies that A equals C. This is what they are giving me in the option. But let's just see. In maths, you can cancel these C's. You will get A equals B. So definitely A is not equal to C. So this option is wrong. Okay. So this is how you do left cancellation. And this is what left cancellation is. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Let's talk about this fourth question now. Now, this is the fifth term of the geometric progression. This is, so we are going to talk about series. We have different series, arithmetic progression, geometric progression. Then you'll get to know about harmonic as well. Today, in this past paper, we just have to talk about the geometric progression, okay? And we need to find a term here. So particularly, all you need to know is the formula for finding nth term in geometric progression. Formula for finding the nth term in geometric progression is this. This is your nth term. You need to find A5. A5 is basically the fifth term of the sequence. A is the first term. First term is 3. So A would be equal to 3 and R is the ratio. In geometric progression, you have a sequence and that sequence is basically changing by a ratio. So you have 3, you have 6 and you have 12. If you multiply 3 by 2, you will get 6. If you multiply 6 by 2, you will get 12. So here you can see that the ratio R is 2. How? And how do you do that? This is the first term, this is the second term. Let's say I'm using second term, I'll use 6. I'll divide it by the first term and I'll get 2. You can also use the third term, you can divide it by the second term and you will get the same R. This is your ratio, this is your ratio, and this is the common ratio by which you will see that every term is being multiplied to 2 and that is how you're getting the next term, okay? So A is 3 and R is 2 and N is 5. You need to find the fifth term of a geometric progression series whose first term is 3 and R is 2. All we need to do is plug in the values in our formula which you would be learning, okay? A is 3, R is 2. You need to multiply N minus 1, N was 5. So you will get 3 into 2 to the 4. That is basically 48, right? So 48 is the fifth term. Are you clear with this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right. Now we have this fifth question. So basically this is cosecant, right, of minus alpha. This basically is this, okay? And we know in maths that cosecant is basically 1 over sine minus alpha, okay? Let's talk about, let's talk about sine here. So this is the graph of sine and this is the graph of sine, right? Negative for negative angles and for positive angles. I'll just explain this quickly. And this is the graph of cos for negative and for positive. So whenever you have sine A, whenever you have sine minus A, so let's say this is minus A and this is A, this is the value and this is the value, you will get minus sine A. This is something which you should know. Whenever you have sine and the angle is minus A, minus B or minus theta, you can take this minus out like this and you will be left with sine A only. And the logic is, and if you do the same thing for cos, I'll tell you the logic. Cos minus A is cos A. Minus is not coming out. Why? Because the graph of cos is symmetric. Let's say this is A and this is minus A. You are getting the same value at Y because the graph is same on the left hand side and at the right hand side as well. But in case of sine A, at sine A we have this value and at minus A we have this value, right? So on the basis of graph, you should know that this is how we use these equations. So did you understand the logic?
Come again with the cos.
Cos, okay. All right. So basically, we know that cos minus a is cos a. This is what we know, this is what we have been doing, but why is it like that? Let's look into that. Okay, this is the graph of cos. Here we have x and this is cos x. Let's say this is cos, this is a and this is minus a. Okay, this is minus a. I'll draw it neatly just so you understand it clearly. Okay, this is minus a, right? So you can see that at cos a, your value is this, and at cos minus a, your value is the same, right? Your value is not changing because the graph of cos on both sides is symmetric. I mean, for cos, we have a symmetric graph. The graph is same at both sides. This is why even if you have cos minus a or you have cos a, your value is going to be same, right?
Okay.
This is the value at cos a and this is the value at cos minus a. And these two are referring to the same value at y-axis, that is cos y. Since the graph is same,
Okay.
since the graph is same, even if the angle is negative, even if the angle is positive, your value would be positive because this is how cos function is. Okay. All right. So cos was extra, but since this is demo, I wanted to, explain things nicely. You should know what sine is, and even if you did not understand the logic, that is completely okay. Just know that we have this equation in maths where sine minus a equals minus sine a. Okay. So here we have 1 over sine minus alpha. So minus sine would come here like this, and we have sine alpha only using this equation, right? So we'll get this only, and we can take this minus here, and I can write 1 over sine alpha. And again, 1 over sine alpha is cosecant. So this is minus cosecant, right? Are you clear with this?
Yes, clear.
Perfect. So C is the answer. Okay. All right.
Wait,
Now,
what's the difference between go up,
yeah.
scroll up? Oh, that's plus and part D. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. So the sixth question is basically from chapter of probability. So think of a dice or a cube, right? In which you have different colors and you have to gather all the same small cubes on one side. You know what a Rubik's cube is. Okay. And the question says the probability of getting 5 when one dice is called. Okay, so basically imagine that you're playing Ludo, right? And you have a small dice of this type which you roll every time, right? And you have different sides. One side is 5, one is 4, one is 2. You have 6 sides. Okay, every cube has 6 sides. So what is the probability that out of these 6 sides you get 5? So we have
1 by
1.
6.
Excellent. Okay, 1 by 6. Very
Mm.
well done, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. 5 is only one option, and in total we have 6 options. So 1 by 6 is the answer. Very well, well done. Excellent. Okay. All right. Let's talk about this seventh question now. The slope of tangent to the curve y equals x square minus 2x at point 1, 1 is. Now we need to talk about the slope of tangent, right? Slope of this curve. Curve is y equals x square minus 2x. Whenever you have been asked to find slope, derivative, m, you always have to find the derivative, that is dy by dx. Okay, so you need to differentiate this equation with respect to x. You will get dy by dx equals, so for the derivative of x square, 2 would come as it is. We'll have x, we subtract the power by 1, minus, again we have x to the 1 would be multiplied 2 into 1, and x to the 1 minus 1, right? So we will get 2x minus 2. This is the derivative, and we need to find it at point 1, 1, right? Point 1, 1. So x is 1 and y is 1 as well. But here I just have to talk about x minus 2. So this is 0. So B is the option, right?
Okay.
Perfect. All right. Okay, again, um, the question we discussed initially, we have a similar question here. Let's do it. Okay. So the question says the solution set of the equation this is. Now again, this is an equation with mod equals 5. Okay. And so far we know whenever we have been asked to find the solution of an equation which has mod, what is mod? These two lines are mod in maths. Okay. You need to write two equations. One equation would be the equation you have without the mod sign, and for the other equation, you need to write down the other equation with a minus sign like this. Now you just have to simplify things. This is 3x equals 5 minus 2. So x would be 3 by 3. So this is 1. And here you can say 3x plus 2. You can take this minus sign to that directly, and you will get minus 5. 3x equals minus 5 minus 2. So x equals minus 7 by 3. So you are getting x equals 1 and x equals minus 7 by 3. So D is the answer, right? So here you can see that we got two answers. In the first example, we got one answer because this is how the equation was. But whenever you have mod, in any linear equation we get one answer, but here this is not a linear equation. Okay, we have mod here. So when we have mod, things are different. When we have mod, we can write one equation into two equations, and this is why we are getting two x's. Okay, is it clear? Ahmed, is this clear? I am not okay. Okay, perfect. All right, let's talk about the ninth question now. We only have some questions left, don't worry. Okay. So the ninth question says, give two independent events, A and B, such that the probability of A is 0.30, probability of B is 0.60, and you need to find the probability of getting neither A nor B. Okay. So first you need to understand the question. The probability of getting A is P of A, that is 0.30. Okay, this is for getting A, and for not getting A, you need to minus this with 1. Why? Because you only have two options. Either you will get A, you have two events. Okay, so either you will so one event is of getting A and not getting A, and the other one is of getting B or not getting B. So if you are getting A, you will get 0.30, and if you are not getting A, you will get 1 minus 0.3, so that is 0.7. And probability of getting B is 0.6, and of not getting B is 1 minus probability of getting B, that would be 0.4. And what you need to find is probability of getting neither A nor B. Okay, so we need to multiply the two probabilities which are referring to not getting A and B. So you don't need A, you don't want to get A, so you need to multiply 0.7 with 0.4. So you will get 0.28, right? This is 0.28. Okay. All right, Emmett. Thank you so much. Is there anything you would like to ask further? Okay, perfect. You can leave the meeting now. Thank you so much.